Hey, good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Heather Sullivan, your host of Sullivan Smart Sense. We really appreciate you joining us. And today we're going to talk about something that I hope is going to help a lot of parents out there. We are going to talk about 529 plans, and we're going to answer all of your questions about how to choose a plan, what you need to know, how much to be putting in it, how they work for different kids and different schools, and all of that kind of stuff. I have a wonderful expert who's going to be joining me, who's been dealing with this for many, many years. So I'm really excited to have her on the show. So hopefully we will help you make some of those plans and help you get your child best prepared for going off to college and getting their education. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming, this is Rachel Byer, and she is the chair of the College Savings Plan Network. Rachel, thanks so much for being with us. It's great to have you.
Heather, thank you so much. It's definitely a pleasure to be here, and thank you for that kind intro. I love talking about 529 savings plans because they do help so many families. And at the College Savings Plan Network, we work very hard to share the message about how the benefits of 529 savings plans can help. So I currently serve as chair of the College Savings Plans Network, and happy to be here today to talk about 529 plans.
And just to give folks a little bit more about your background, because I'm fascinated by your job as well. You're actually also the assistant state treasurer for the state of Nebraska, which ties into this so well. But you've been doing that for quite a while.
Yes, I am. I have been in this role for almost 18 years, serving as the assistant state treasurer here in Nebraska, and then also the director of our Nebraska Nest 529 College Savings Program during that whole time. So I do have a wealth of knowledge, but it's been a pleasure to serve for so many years. Those of us who work in 529 plans, we're very passionate about what we do, and our main goal is to help families and to make sure kids have the opportunity to go to college or further their education, even if it's at a two-year institution or whatever the case may be. That's really our number one goal, is to help families help with that burden of saving for education.
Wonderful. Well, we're so excited to have you share all of your 18 years of experience with us. So we appreciate that. Let's go ahead and dive right in. There's different plans out there, and they vary from state to state. But how do you go about choosing your 529 plan?
So the number one rule of thumb is always check with your home state plan first, because your home state plan may offer some additional in-state tax benefits. Now, there are some states like the state of Texas that doesn't have state income tax, but there are other plans out there that do have state tax benefits that you could take advantage of. So always start with your home state first. You'll also want to decide or consider if you're a do-it-yourselfer investor, or if you want the help of a financial advisor. So if you like to do things yourself, we call those direct 529 plans, and you do everything yourself, you enroll yourself, you choose your investments yourself, and really just take care of managing that account all on your own. However, if you do prefer to work with a financial advisor, there are multiple financial advisors all across the country who are willing to advise you and help you with opening an account, choosing those investments, and getting you on the path of savings and staying in contact with you. So really, you've got to decide if you want to do it yourself or work with a financial advisor. Check with your home state first. And it's always with any financial product, it's always important to do your research before you start a new financial product. So a good place to go is our College Savings Plans Network website. You can go to that website and you can look at all of the plans that are available to you, and you can do a comparison of what they might offer as far as any investment fees, also what they would have for the investment selection, and a number of different incentives that they may have. So I would check out our website. That's the best place to start, in addition to your home state first.
Since you mentioned state, let me ask you if you know or believe that you might move to a different later in your career, or before the kids graduate high school, do these things kind of move with you? Does it matter if you're not necessarily in the same state where you started?
So definitely, you can live in any state and participate in any 529 plan. So most 529 plans do not have any residency requirements where you have to use their home state plan. There are some plans that are for their home state only, but you can live anywhere in the U.S. and have a 529 plan from any state. If you would happen to move, you could certainly keep your 5-9 plan in the current plan that you have, or you could move to your new state plan if that particular plan offered a better tax benefit for you. And what we call that in the industry is a rollover. So you can roll your funds from a 5-9 plan into another state's 5-9 plan by working with both plans to make that transfer. But I will I need to make sure that viewers understand that by doing that, you may incur some recapture situations. If you have taken advantage of a state income tax deduction or credit, your state may recapture that money that you received as a tax deduction if you roll out of that state's plan. So definitely check with your home state, check with your tax professional before issuing a rollover or conducting a rollover in a 5-9, but you definitely can do that. On the flip side of that, though, there are some states that will grant that tax deduction for rollovers coming in. So check for the recapture, but you also may get a tax advantage by rolling in. And you always can leave it there. And sometimes what families will do if they are moving, they can still contribute to their original plan, and they'll just leave it there, but then they can open a new account in their new home state and then make contributions into that plan as well. So you do have some options if you move or want to change plans.
And then are there plans that are specific to going to schools in that state, or do they generally let you go wherever you want to go?
So generally, money can be used from your 5-9 plan to attend any eligible educational institution in the United States, including some abroad schools. So the rule of thumb is it has to be an accredited institution, and you can check the U.S. Department of Education's website to see if that particular institution you plan to attend is accredited. It can be used at a 4-year college, a 2-year technical program, vocational technical school, graduate professional program, and now even apprenticeships are allowed as a qualified withdrawal for 5-9 plans, which is absolutely fantastic. So there are a lot of options where you can use your 5-9 money. Now, if some plans do offer a seed amount or a seed contribution to help families get started, some of those seed contributions have to be used in that home state. So again, depending on if you had a seed contribution from your home state, or if you in general have just a regular 5-9 plan that you set up, you certainly can use that money at any accredited institution.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, do people generally do one 5-9 plan per child, or can you do one for multiple children, or what are your thoughts on that?
So for 5-9, there's only one account owner and one beneficiary per account. So there are some families that start with one account for their oldest child, and they just keep saving. And then with 5-9, you can change the beneficiary at any time to another member of the family. So we will have families who will open one account, they'll put all of their contributions into that account, knowing that their first child will go to further their education, they'll take a withdrawal for them, then they'll change the beneficiary to the next child, and so on and so forth. That can get a little complicated and a lot of paperwork, because we do require a change of beneficiary anytime you request a withdrawal, because you have to request a withdrawal for the beneficiary that you're using the funds for. So most plans don't have an enrollment fee. There might be a few account maintenance fees, but there's no enrollment fee. So it is easier in general for families to have an account for each of their children, just because contributions coming in, you can track that a little bit easier. And then when the withdrawals come out, it's easier just to take that withdrawal without having to make the beneficiary changes. And the last thing I'll say about having separate accounts, if you have a large age gap between your children, so if you have a child that's in junior high or middle school, and then you have a child that's in first or second grade, you have a different time horizon there for your investing. So if you choose one account, you might be missing out on earnings that you potentially would be getting for a potentially more aggressive account that you would have for someone who's younger, because you'd have a longer time horizon. So all of those factors you should consider when you're determining if you want to have one account for your family or if you want to have separate accounts. I personally recommend separate accounts for those reasons, because it's easier withdrawals, and you also can utilize your investment options, in my opinion, much more efficiently.
Okay. You mentioned fees. What should we have? What should we expect in terms of fees when choosing a plan?
So there are underlying investment fees. So much like mutual funds, there are underlying investment fees. So there's total asset-based fees on the plans, and that's with any investment product, you'll have that. Some accounts do have an account fee. That's not as prevalent. Most plans don't have, no plans have an enrollment fee, and most plans don't have an account maintenance fee. So it's very cost effective. There might be some state administrative fees that are very minimal as well for state programs like mine that help use those funds to help run the program, administrative costs, marketing of the program, that sort of thing. So the fees can really range depending on the plan that you're choosing. 5 to 9 plans are definitely very low cost. They have become over the 20 plus years and that they've been around, they've definitely have come down in fees significantly. So it is very much a cost-effective way to save. And most plans will show you a cost chart of a $10,000 investment and what that will cost you in 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10 years time. And really, when you look at that chart, it's very minimal in fees. So there are fees, but they're definitely very minimal when it comes to saving in a 529.
How do you determine how much you should be contributing? And are these contributions pre-tax or post-tax?
So the money goes in after tax dollars. So it's after tax money going in, and then it's tax deferred. So whatever earnings you're receiving on the account through the investment is tax deferred. And as long as the money is used for a qualified withdrawal, which is tuition, fees, books, room and board if you're at least a part-time student, computer equipment, any of those fees that you would need for any lab fees, that sort of thing, those are all qualified withdrawals. And as long as it comes out as a qualified withdrawal, it is all tax-free. So there'll be no taxes on it as long as it's used for a qualified expense. If for some reason you would need to take the money back out because it is your money, your funds, you would then be considered a non-qualified withdrawal, and you will have your ordinary income tax on the earnings portion only, and then a 10% federal penalty tax on the earnings portion only. So definitely want to use it for a qualified expense, but understand if you have to take it out for some reason, it will be penalized and there will be some taxes incurred.
Okay. And then, yeah, how do you determine how much money you should be putting in and in terms of trying to meet your goal or what you can afford?
Sure. So a lot of plans have what we call a college savings calculator, and you can use their website and go online and you can input the number, the age of the beneficiary, how much money you may already have saved, maybe in just a personal savings account that you could add to your 529, and how much money you would like to contribute each month or each year. And then that cost calculator will tell you, based on the school that you've selected or schools you've selected that you would like to potentially attend, it will tell you how much you should be saving each month to get to that goal, to pay for maybe the first year, or maybe pay for half of the education, or maybe all 4 years or all 2 years. So that's a really good way to determine how much you can save or how much you should contribute, is by using a cost savings calculator that a lot of 5 to 9 plans offer on their platforms for you to be able to do that research.
Some people might be worried, there's a lot of talk about this potential recession coming. What if you kind of, you start one, but you lose your job, things changed, you can't keep up with those payments? What happens then?
So most plans do not, like I said, have a minimal contribution or any requirements where you have to contribute on a regular basis. And 5 to 9 plans allow you to make contributions when you can. So yes, having financial priorities is a healthy way to approach finances, and with budgeting surrounding savings, it is difficult. A lot of folks are looking at the retirement versus college savings versus, just making ends meet with their budget. So there's no set amount for funding for higher education. It's really whatever you can contribute. So a lot of times I recommend that families map out a budget, because then they can check out, that college savings calculator. They can see what they might be able to utilize from their budget to input into a 529. And also, you can always check with friends and family. So sometimes there are grandparents that may be in a better position, or myself, I'm an aunt and I save for my niece and 2 nephews, and I'm in a better position to be able to help them out versus their family. My sister who's raising her children, and there's other family members who a lot of times help make contributions to an account. So it's okay to ask, families to contribute as well. Maybe grandparents would like to help out. So it's really just setting a timing, making a budget, perhaps doing an automatic investment plan. So, you're putting in $10 a month and it's just automatic. So you're not really seeing it leave your pocketbook because it's automatically going in. All of that money then is working for your beneficiary to have a better chance to have more funds for school when that time comes for higher education.
You mentioned people gifting into your fund. Let's say the children have either they've finished school or they've decided not to go to school and took a different path, but for whatever reason you have money left over. It probably doesn't happen a lot, but let's say it does. Can you gift that money elsewhere, or what happens to that money?
So we don't really call that gifting. What we call that is transferring the funds to another beneficiary. And so again, 5 to 9 plans are so flexible that you can transfer to another member of your family. So there might be another child in the family that's going to go, even if they have their own account, they can still be named the beneficiary on the account that wasn't used by the older sibling, or that those funds can be transferred over to that other beneficiary's account. Again, that's very flexible. It could even go all the way down to first cousins, aunts, uncles, spouses, step siblings, any of those parents could use it. We have a lot of adult learners going back, again, because of the economy that we're in right now and potential recession. There are a lot of adult learners that are going back to further education, to learn a new skill. So we have them opening an account, and maybe they won't use it all, then they could save it for their children, grandchildren. If there's not another sibling, we do have parents who will leave the funds there because their children may have their own children. So then the grandparent then would be able to save for the new grandchild. So we do see that happening where the money sits. Most states do not have, all 5 to 9 plans do not have age requirement. So there's not a limit of when the funds have to be removed from the account. So you have the flexibility of letting the money sit there for, again, future generations to use that 5 to 9 a month account.
Okay. I think we've kind of covered, we've covered so much. I think we've kind of covered most of the questions that I had. You mentioned earlier about people reaching out to your website. Where's a good place to go if you just want to get more information about this?
Sure. So our College Savings Plans Network website is collegesavings.org. So it's just collegesavings.org, and that's the best place to check. We have a lot of experts in the industry who write blog posts about 5 to 9 plans. There's a lot of data on that website as well, our website as well, that you can look to see information about nationally how we're saving all across the country, how families are saving for 5 to 9. And there's just a lot of tips and tools there as well to use as we, again, spread the message of saving for 5 to 9. So that's the best place to go to get a general overview of 5 to 9 plans, and also to check out your home state plan.
Wonderful. Well, Rachel Beyer with the College Savings Plans Network, thanks so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. It's really great to be able to kind of understand how these plans work a little bit better, and how hopefully how families can utilize them to their best advantage, because they really should be taking advantage of these if they can.
Most definitely. And I just would close by saying that as we enter the holiday season, it is a perfect time to have discussions with your family about gifting to a 5 to 9 plan. So we did talk about it a little bit, but you definitely can gift to a 5 to 9. The 5 to 9 plans have platforms where it makes it very easy to send a contribution as a gift to a beneficiary. So definitely it's a good time of year to think about gifting and helping out a beneficiary so that they can have the dream of attending higher education.
Yeah, absolutely. Great idea. Well, Rachel, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here today.
And thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate you taking some time to join us as well. Keep those questions and topics that you would like to have covered coming to me. Just send me a note on Facebook or email or what have you. And we'll continue to look into things to help you save money and make the most of your money here on Sullivan Smart Sense. And until then, we'll see you next time.